Taking a look at those stories in detail now, the Cabinet has decided to appoint a special commission to inquire into those who were subject to political revenge.
We were informed that the President will appoint a special commission for the next 6 weeks to investigate into those who were battered by injustices and political revenge, including state and defence officials. It was also proposed to the Cabinet today to reform laws to safeguard state officials who make right decisions for the betterment of the country.
State Minister of Energy Rohitha Abe-Gunawardena expressed the following views.
We will be removing the fuel price formula. It is very clear that we will do that. It was a formula introduced by Mangala Samaravira to deceive people. We will not implement that.
President Gotabaya Rajapaksa expressed his aspirations after 35 state ministers and 3 deputy ministers were sworn in before him this morning.
We cannot provide a position to everyone who worked politically and all those who helped obtain votes. Taking into consideration the limitations set out in the Constitution, I would like to reduce the number of state and deputy ministers. However, if you take a look at the manifesto, there are a number of responsibilities to be carried out. That is why we have decided to keep the total number of deputy and state ministers as the same number. There can be doubts with regard to the ministries that you receive. You must understand that there are serious responsibilities behind this. When taking a look at the requirements of the people, these state ministries have been created to fulfill these requirements. I ask the ministers to provide the opportunity for these state ministers and deputy ministers to carry out their duties. I think the state ministers will have secretaries as well. You have an important task to carry the state service.
රාජ්‍ය සේවය ක්‍රියාත්මක කිරීම සඳහාත්ම වැදගත් කාර්යයක් ඔබට බාර වෙලා තිබෙනවා.
The state ministers who were sworn in today are
Chamal Rajapaksa was sworn in as the State Minister of Defence, Vasudeva Nanayakara was sworn in as the State Minister of Water Resources Management, Gamini Lokuge was sworn in as the State Minister of Urban Development, Mahinda Abe-Gunawardena was sworn in as the State Minister of Irrigation and Rural Development, S.B. Disanayaka was sworn in as the State Minister of Land and Land Development, John Seneviratne was sworn in as the State Minister of Economic Policy Development, Mahinda Samarasinghe was sworn in as the State Minister of State Administration and Internal Affairs. C.B. Ratnayaka was sworn in as State Minister of Railway Services. Lakshmana Abe-Gunawardena was sworn in as State Minister of Information and Communication Technology. Susantha Punchinilame was sworn in as the State Minister of SME Development. Andhra Pradesh Nyapa was sworn in as State Minister of Internal Trade and Consumer Welfare. Susil Premajayantha was sworn in as State Minister of Foreign Affairs. Priyankara Jayaratne was sworn in as State Minister of Indigenous Medicine. Ranjit Siyamalapitiya was sworn in as State Minister of Education Services. Duminda Disanayaka was sworn in as State Minister of Youth Affairs. Mahinda Anandaludgamage was sworn in as State Minister of Electricity. Rohitha Abe-Gunawardena was sworn in as State Minister of Energy. Dayasiri Jayasekara was sworn in as State Minister of Industry. Lasantha Aligewanna was sworn in as State Minister of State Management and Public Accounts. Kehliya Rambukwella was sworn in as State Minister of Investment Promotion. Arundika Fernando was sworn in as State Minister of Tourism Promotion. Tilanga Sumatipala was sworn in as State Minister of Technology and Innovations. Mohan Priyarachana De Silva was sworn in as State Minister of Human Rights and Legal Reforms. Vidita Berugoda was sworn in as State Minister of Women's and Children's Affairs. Roshan Ranasinghe was sworn in as State Minister of Mahaveli Development. Janaka Vakkumbura was sworn in as State Minister of Export Agriculture. Vidura Vikramanayaka was sworn in as State Minister of Agriculture. Shehan Semasinghe was sworn in as State Minister of Development Banks and Loan Schemes. Kanaka Herath was sworn in as State Minister of Port Development. Dilum Amunugama was sworn in as State Minister of Transport Services Management. Lohan Ratwatha was sworn in as State Minister of Road Development. Vimalavira Disanayaka was sworn in as State Minister of Wildlife Resources. Jayantha Samaravira was sworn in as State Minister of Environment. Sanat Nishantha was sworn in as State Minister of Fisheries. Taraka Balasuriya was sworn in as State Minister of Social Security. 3 Deputy Ministers were also sworn in today. Nimal Lansa was sworn in as Deputy Minister of Community Empowerment and Estate. Kanchana Wijayasekara was sworn in as Deputy Minister of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources. Indika Anuruddha was sworn in as Deputy Minister of State Administration, Internal Affairs, Provincial Council and Local Government.
විශාල වගකීමක් තමයි බාර අරන් තියෙන්නේ. මම හිතනවා අපිට ඒක සාර්ථකව කරන්න පුළුවන් කියලා.
අපේ ප්‍රතිපත්තිය වෙන්නේ බොහෝ දුරට වෘත්තීමය ඩිප්ලොමැට්ස්ලා, ප්‍රොෆෙෂනල් ඩිප්ලොමැට්ස්ලා හැකිතාක් දුරට අපේ රට නියෝජනය කිරීම සඳහා වෙන රටවල් වලට පත් කර යැවීම. දුම්රිය සේවාව පිළිබඳව
The system that prevailed with regard to the railway prevails even up to date. I have a big responsibility as a state minister to ensure that efficient and an attractive service is provided from the Point Pedro to Dondra Head. As members of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party and others in the government, we have decided to be humble about this victory. This is for the well-being of the people. The need of the country is development. Change is required, and these people have been appointed to carry out that change. The responsibility of the cabinet, state and deputy ministers is to ensure that the pledge made to the people during the elections are fulfilled. We will provide the facilities required for the journalists. We hope to work towards how the media can be taken forward with a developed technology. I am happy that I received this ministry as someone from the hills. The main problem for the upcountry people is the land.
Meanwhile, a number of parliamentarians have been appointed as chairpersons of the respective district development councils. The letters of appointment were handed over to the appointees by Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa.
Shriyani Vijay Vikrama, Sumedha G. Jayasena, Veerakumara Disanayaka, Sudarshani Fernando Pulle, Dunesh Gankanda, Dr. Sara Tamanugama, Tenuka Vidanagamage, Piyal Nishanta, Chandima Veerakodi, Dushmanta Mitrapala and Lakshman Vasanta Pereira have been appointed as District Development Committee chairpersons. I consider it a blessing to receive such a position. Through this, I can reorganize the grassroots. They have given the responsibility of developing all things and to ensure the complete development of the Anuradhapura district. So we plan to fulfill these responsibilities as per his expectations. Today I have been given the title of Chairman of the District Development Coordination Committee for the Kalutara district. More than those portfolios, the selflessness and commitment will be more important to the people. We will go forward with that commitment. We told His Excellency the President and the Honorable Prime Minister that we do not require any portfolios. So I think because of that, we have been made chairpersons of the District Development Committees.
Parliamentarian Nama Rajapaksa expressed these views to the media following the swearing-in ceremony of the newly appointed state and deputy ministers.
In one way, we are happy that there are both young and old MPs among the state and deputy ministers appointed. Through this, we plan to go on a new journey with a new direction. We are hopeful that through this, we can fulfill the aspirations of the people.
Also making headlines this evening, the government today announced the removal of a number of taxes, including the pay-as-you-earn tax and also the reduction of the value-added tax.
The first cabinet meeting of the new government was held today, headed by President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Taking into account the pledges made during the presidential election, a new relief program has been approved during the cabinet meeting. The announcement containing the relevant reliefs was made by co-cabinet spokespersons Minister Ramesh Patirana and Minister Bandula Gunawardena. Accordingly, the nation-building tax imposed on household goods and service products has been completely removed. Withholding tax on interests has also been removed. Debit tax imposed on banks and other financial institutions, as well as the capital gains tax imposed on the Colombo Stock Exchange, has also been removed. The Cabinet has also granted approval to abolish the pay-as-you-earn tax as well as the debit services tax. Minister Bandula Gunawardena said the VAT and NBT imposed on all goods and services would be unified and the tax percentage would be reduced. The 15% VAT and 2% NBT, which amounts to 17% altogether, which was imposed on all goods and services, will be unified and reduced to 8% effective from the 1st of December this year. Secondly, the ceiling for VAT has been raised to 25 million rupees turnover per month from the existing 1 million rupees. It has also been decided to reduce the income tax on the construction industry from 28% to 14%. VAT on condominium properties has also been abolished. It has also been decided to exempt all religious places from taxes. The new tax recommendations include the exemption of all funds earned by expatriates from any sort of tax. It has also been decided to reduce the telecommunications levy to 25%. Minister Bandula Gunawardena also explained how the potential government revenue, which will be lost as a result of the new tax amendments, would be recovered. All sectors in the country will be uplifted through these tax concessions. When production becomes wider, instead of imposing more taxes on a lesser number of people, we are able to tax more people but at a lesser rate. Then government revenue increases. We expect through future budget readings to increase government revenue through other means apart from taxes and to reduce the tax burden on the people. The other method is reducing expenditure. If we are able to reduce expenditure faster than the increase in revenue, we can reduce the gap between income and expenditure. At present, tea leaves, rubber and pepper are imported into the country. Therefore, our government will take steps to reduce and thereafter ban the importation of these agricultural commodities into the country. We will also take steps to exempt earnings through plantation industries from taxes.
වැවිලි කර්මාන්ත ක්ෂේත්‍රයෙන් උපයන සියලුම ආදායම් බද්දෙන් නිදහස් කරන්නටත් අපි කටයුතු කරන බව අවස්ථාවේ සඳහන් කරනවා.
Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa assumed duties this evening as the Minister of Urban Development, Housing and Water Supply.
The Prime Minister assumed duties today at the ministry premises, which is situated at the Suhurupaya building in Battaramulla. State Minister of Urban Development, Gamini Lokuge, assumed duties at the event as well. We saw in the past several powers which were vested with provincial councils were taken over by us, especially the ability to approve the partitioning of lands. I am not a proponent of it. I strongly believe we should hand that power back to the provincial councils. Apart from the 550 acres of land we gained by filling the sea and the 150 acres from Hambantota, we will not get new land. We cannot let our existing land to be destroyed. If there is an urban development plan, it should be implemented. We cannot allow people to change these according to their whims and fancies. I believe we should not leave room for that to happen.
Dr. Priyat Bandhu Vikrama has been appointed as the Secretary to the Ministry of Urban Development, Housing and Water Supply. He was the chairman of the Sri Lanka Ports Authority. The President appointed new secretaries to 20 ministries today. With that, we're heading for a short commercial break. Stay with News First. We will be right back. Welcome back to the news. Speaker Karu Jayasuriya says recognition of the leader of the United National Front, formed for good governance, as the leader of the opposition was done upholding established parliamentary traditions that should not be violated. The speaker on Twitter said, quote, "It is best that a party's internal disputes are settled from within," unquote.
Following the parliamentary group meeting held at the Sirikotha party headquarters, parliamentarian Palitha Rangibandara convened a press briefing at the same location.
Ranil Wickramasinghe will be the opposition leader. He is the leader of the party. Yes, so if anyone has the necessity and if anyone is requesting such a thing, let them come and we can discuss. Yesterday we spoke to the speaker, Karu Jayasuriya. Then the other team was also called for a discussion and the matter was resolved. That is what you call democracy. No, nobody has delayed. Neither has anyone said no. That is the law. Akila Viraj Karyavasam carried out what he is required to do by the law as the party's General Secretary. No, we have not split. There is no split. Where is the split?
Well, MP Palita Rangabandara expressed his views after a group of UNP MPs met at the Sirikota party headquarters today. The meeting was chaired by leader of the party, Ranil Wickremesinghe.
MPs including General Secretary of the party Akila Viraj Karyavasam, National Organizer Naveen Dissanayaka, Palita Thevarapelma and Tilak Marapane attended the meeting. After conducting the meeting for 3 hours, the MPs expressed the following views. We discussed about the reasons behind the reduction of votes for the United National Party and the United National Front. We also analysed the progress made in 2015 and discussed about why we didn't get those advantages this time. No, we didn't discuss about that, but a majority has voiced the need for a new leadership and a new way of doing things. I am of the stance that the position of opposition leader and party leadership should be immediately given to Sajith Premadasa. No, only a few were called for this. Meetings like this will be held in the future. Small groups were called to attend meetings as a large gathering will hinder the discussion. We experienced a defeat because a crisis was created and the therers in the temples were deceived and the people were misled. Yes, we admit that. We have encouraged the crisis created by Gotabaya Rajapaksa. We discussed that it was the reason behind our defeat. It must have been a task he took over as the General Secretary. But as members and MPs, we are of the stance that the position should be given to Sajith Premadasa. We have had discussions with Sajith Premadasa. I think in 2 to 3 weeks that matter will be resolved.
The media questioned as to why the police media spokesperson's office was not in operation from today. This is the response of the cabinet spokesperson Bandula Gunawardena when this query was raised.
This is a transitional stage, so we need some time to give life to a governance system that has been completely destroyed. You will get to know more about the future plans following cabinet meetings.
Questions were raised at the cabinet media briefing regarding the summoning of online media activists to the Criminal Investigations Department.
Attorney at Law Sanjay Danushka, a presenter in a private news website and a YouTube channel, was summoned before the Criminal Investigations Department for interrogations. Tushara Vitarana, an editor of another YouTube channel, was also summoned by the CID. Upon an inquiry by Newsfirst, she stated that she had requested for a grace period till tomorrow morning. Meanwhile, the Minihana police had searched the premises of a private news website this morning. We are not aware of the proper scenario. That is why the acting IGP will give the country an explanation. Different media may publish different pieces of information on how media freedoms may allegedly be affected. As the government, we would like to very clearly state that we will take all steps to protect media freedom.
Indictments were filed at the Permanent High Court trial at bar against 9 Sri Lanka Army intelligence officers. They are charged under 17 separate indictments for the abduction of journalist Prageeth Eknarigoda with the intention of secretly and unlawfully detaining him, and his assassination.
The case is called up in the presence of Justices Sampath Abekon, Sampath Wijeratna and Gihan Kulatunga of the Colombo Permanent High Court Trial Bar. The indictments were filed against the 9 accused for conspiring with those unknown to the prosecution between the 24th and 27th of January 2010 in Giritale, Koswatta and Batramulla and carrying out the abduction of Prageethek Naligoda. The other accused are RMDK Rajapaksa alias Nathan, Vadugedara Vinny Priyantha Dilanjan Upasena alias Suresh, Ravindra Rupasena alias Ranji, Chaminda Kumar Aberatna, Danushka Gunaratna, Ayyasami Balasubramaniam, Taranga Prasad Gamage and TER Pires. After the indictments were handed over, the Permanent High Court Trial Bar ordered for them to be released on bail given earlier by the Magistrates Court. An overseas travel ban was imposed on the accused and they were ordered to hand over their passports to court. The matter will be called up again on the 18th of December.
මං හිතන්නේ මට අලුත් බලාපොරොත්තුවක් තියෙනවා ප්‍රගීත් මට මේ රටේ වින්දිතයින්ට යුක්තිය ඉෂ්ට වෙන මාර්ගයක් අද ආරම්භ වුණා කියලා.
ඒ වගේම දැන් එළිය කතා බහක් තියෙනවා මේ ප්‍රගීත් සිද්ධිය පිටිපස්සේ සරත් ෆොන්සේකා මහතාත් ඉන්නවා කියලා.
මං හිතන්නේ පැහැදිලි.
During that time, Prageeth was helping Sarath Fonseka's political campaign. I reject that allegation. After a short while, we know that Sarath Fonseka too became a victim. He had to suffer in prison. Against such a backdrop, how is Sarath Fonseka linked to this?
Readers of the upmarket travel publication Condé Nast Traveller have voted Sri Lanka the 4th best country to travel to in 2019.
The 32nd Reader's Choice Awards of the Condé Nast Travellers published in November showed Sri Lanka coming in behind Indonesia, Thailand and Portugal with a score of 91.79. The 32nd edition of the Condé Nast Traveller was record-breaking with 600,000 registered voters giving their opinion on the best countries, hotels, cities and islands in the world. South Africa, Peru, Greece, the Philippines, Italy and Vietnam made up the rest of the top 10 countries in the world for 2019.
5 compartments of the YALDEVI train travelling from Kankasantare towards Colombo was derailed today. General Manager of Railways Delanta Fernando said the train was derailed at 3 p.m. in the Galgamore area. He added that one person was injured. In more local news, the 83rd birthday of Lalit Athulat Mudali was celebrated yesterday at the BMICH in Colombo.
The event saw the participation of former First Lady Shiranti Rajapaksa, Ravi Karunanayake, Indian High Commissioner to Sri Lanka Taranjit Singh Sandhu and several other dignitaries.
First and foremost, national security and defence are like air. Without it, you cannot survive. But when you have it, you take it for granted. Like air, security cannot be compartmentalized. It is all-pervasive. It is a global common. National security goes beyond physical securing of one's own borders. If the region and the world are in turmoil, you will agree with me, we cannot remain safe. In this era of internet and cyberspace, actual location of individuals hardly matters. Ideas and ideologies travel at the click of a mouse beyond borders on a real-time basis. It is heartening to note that India and Sri Lanka have strong cooperation in the fields of defense and security. We have been sharing our equipment and expertise with Sri Lanka. We are also ready to do more. We have conducted joint missions in the recent past to apprehend vessels carrying drugs. Discussions are also underway to enhance cybersecurity cooperation. You will be surprised that Sri Lanka gets the largest share of our military training slots. In fact, more than 50% of all foreign military training slots go to Sri Lanka today.
In an official statement, the Federal Department of Foreign Affairs of Switzerland stated a short while ago that a local employee of the Swiss embassy in Colombo was detained against her will.
In an official statement, the Federal Department of Foreign Affairs of Switzerland stated a short while ago that a local employee of the Swiss embassy in Colombo was detained against her will. It further says that the local employee at the embassy was threatened at length by unidentified men in order to force her to disclose embassy-related information. The release read that the Swiss authorities have been informed of a serious incident that has occurred at the Swiss embassy in Colombo. The statement further reads, Switzerland regards this incident as a very serious and unacceptable attack on one of its diplomatic representations and its employees. It further reads, Switzerland promptly reported the incident to the Sri Lankan authorities and is demanding an immediate and complete investigation into the circumstances surrounding the incident. It also calls for the perpetrators to be brought to justice and for the guarantee of the security of the Swiss representation in Colombo and its employees to be fully restored. The statement reads, this message was conveyed today by the Swiss ambassador to Sri Lanka to Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa and Foreign Minister Dinesh Gunawardena together with a diplomatic démarche. Furthermore, the Sri Lankan ambassador to Switzerland has been summoned to the FDFA, Switzerland's foreign ministry.
Following views were expressed at the cabinet media briefing in this regard. We do not have correct information about it. The Inspector General of Police will issue an official release. Meanwhile, Minister of Foreign Affairs Dinesh Gunawardena said on Twitter that the Ambassador of Switzerland, Hans-Peter Mock, paid a courtesy call at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
In line with the international campaign, 16 Days of Activism Against Gender-Based Violence, Newsfirst conducted an exclusive interview with the UNFPA representative and co-chair of the National Forum Against Gender-Based Violence, Ritsu Neken.
Today is day 3 of the campaign of 16 Days of Activism Against Gender-Based Violence, and we are here at the UN compound. We have here with us today the UNFPA representative and the co-chair of the National Forum Against Gender-Based Violence, Ms. Ritsu Neken. Let's first define what gender-based violence is.
Gender-based violence is any act that perpetrated against the will of women and girls, and it is based on the imbalance of the power dynamics between men and women, and it affects 1 in 3 women and girls in this world.
Do tell us, what is the significance of this campaign, the 16 Days of Activism Against Gender-Based Violence?
The 16 Days of Activism Against Gender-Based Violence is an annual global campaign that raises awareness of these significant issues for women and girls in this world. And we have a number of activities lined up in many countries, and very often we light up the buildings and monuments in orange to raise the awareness. And every year a lot of partners, including the government, civil society, the UN agencies and the other development partners, work together to raise the awareness of this important issue.
Tell us the significance of lighting the UN compound in orange.
As part of the 16 days campaign, every year we signified our support to this campaign using the color orange. So this is one of the ways that we show the support to campaign by lighting up the UN compound.
Let's now talk about how the UNFPA has helped Sri Lanka take a stand against gender-based violence.
UNFPA, the UN Population Fund, is an organization that supports women's rights and women's health. And we have been supporting the government of Sri Lanka for nearly 5 decades to raise the issue about women's health, including the gender-based violence. In the past 15 years, actually, we have been co-chairing the Gender-Based Violence National Forum and have been advocating for the appropriate policies and program to eliminate gender-based violence from Sri Lanka. Also, for the past few years, with the funding of the Canadian government, we have been strengthening public institutions to respond more effectively and provide a coordinated and victim-centered services for the victims and survivors of gender-based violence. So we have had many initiatives as a UNFPA, but we also work with our partners, sister UN agencies, to eliminate this severe human rights violation.
And with that, we conclude tonight's edition of Primetime News. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm Mahina Bongzo.
And I am Shanjaram Pati. Good night and take care.